My grandpa told me about a story about Mary's Pool, and he said it's a haunted story. I was like 6 when he told me about it. It's a lady wearing all white clothes, and she died in a river at 51. And the river she died in is called Mary's Pool, and she has a grave, and everyone says that it's haunted. It's the second biggest grave there. I tried to look for the ghosts but I had no luck. But apparently someone found the ghost, but I don't believe that, but I kinda do. But my grandpa believes it for some reason, but that's his choice. Apparently her skin is just all white, her hair's white, and her dress is all white. Quite old, but quite young at the same time, like in the middle. It's like roundabouts, yeah, like 50 years old or something. I'd try and capture it, like on my phone or something, and like maybe ask it some questions or something, see what happened. Like, how did you die in the river? Like, what's happened? Like, what have you done since you died? Like, stuff like that. Yeah, so I live basically right next door to the graveyard, but I'm not like that close. Like, I'm cut like almost like half a football pitch. No, I don't find it that scary, but it is quite cool how it's in my town, and I find that amusing how it's just in my town and like not that much people knows about it. Yeah, I want to pass it on to like kids like from like other schools, see like what they think about it.
The Beef Fair is the best. Probably not as good as AT, Alton Towers, but it's still really fun. My favourite rides in the park fair is the waltzes. I like the Mexican Wave too, Lost Jungle, the Twister, the bumper cars, the boot, and any funhouse that sometimes comes to the fair. The Smile, aka Crazy Dancer, looks good too, but bounces up and down a lot. It wasn't there last year though. There's a lot of drunk people that are at the fair. Most of them are my age, and I don't think that's legal, so good job police are sometimes there to watch out for the trouble people. It apparently used to be a very, very big fair, but hey, that was probably 1967. When I got to the fair, I got on a lot of rides. I also used the stalls that sometimes come, not last year because of COVID. Some of the games that play in the stalls, I'm pretty sure it's like one of those things where you have to try and get the balls into the buckets. I do always one of that. You win toys and that, and also I'm pretty sure there's this one where you have to pick the right duck with like the net and get out of the water, and if there's a black dot on it you win. I think that's what it is. I always won at the stalls, so I'm like the champion at the prize stalls. In 2018, apparently someone threw a drone above Beef Fair. I say apparently, and it's literally on YouTube, so it really happened. I remember at the fair, Ryan yeeted a ball out of a little boy's hand, and he also gave a few girls a high five. I always like it at Beef Fair because there's a lot of music, but I always get sore heads because of how loud the music is and everything. But yeah, good times.
Stories open all sorts of doors, take you all sorts of places. And this week, stories brought me to North Ayrshire in the Garnock Valley. My own first memories of writing stories are of using my gran's old typewriter when she wasn't using it to write cheeky complaint letters to companies to get vouchers for free stuff. So it was an absolute treat to spend a glorious Easter Monday in the sunshine clacking away on a classic typewriter, typing up stories dictated to me by all the children who kept wandering up to the story wagon as it sat in Eglinton Country Park. We had Minecraft tales full of ancient armour and beautiful gardens, and vampire tales exploring identity, all sorts. One of my favourite things to do when working with groups like this is to get them to make a miniature book or comic and to tell a story in 8 pages with a beginning, a middle and an end. People seem to like the parameters of it. 8 pages doesn't seem too scary, the books are wee, so I'll give it a go. In these books, we can tell stories with just words, just pictures, or words and pictures, whichever way suits you and your story best. I heard true stories about days out on the flumes for a birthday treat, or mermaids and their friends visiting Eglinton Castle. It's a wonderful start to a week of stories. And my story mission this week was to work with 2 groups of secondary pupils in Garnock Community Campus. The pupils are all in nurture groups, which provide a bit of additional space and support for young people for all sorts of reasons. It might be around confidence and anxiety issues. You might be on the autistic spectrum. You might just be having a hard time at school or home. My daughter occasionally attends a nurture group in her high school, and so I know the role they can play in creating a calming space, a safer haven, away from the structure and noise of the school day. So it's important not to upset that balance too much, to make the thing that you're doing become something to be stressed about. Finding your own story can be a bit overwhelming, so we treat it as a bit of a journey. We don't run there. We stroll through games and discussion, from the earliest forms of stories with pictures up on the cave walls, through story conventions and structures, what our own favourite stories are, from films to games, before we head off into the woods to try and discover the moments and memories that matter to us. And we had a great couple of days. A first year class on Tuesday and a second year class on the Wednesday. Almost all of the young people told stories about people, places or pets who had seen them through challenging times, who calmed them down, helped them be themselves. Simple stories, true stories of friendship, days out, bubblegum ice cream, frisbees on the beach, reframed now that we know not to take those things for granted and understand more than ever their importance to our well-being, our sense of self. On the second day, there was a girl in the group who didn't want to speak. She wrote her story though, but even with her teacher's gentle coaxing, she wasn't up for recording it, knowing it would have involved her talking more than she felt comfortable with doing, and that was fine for her. The act of writing the story down was maybe enough. So by the third day, I had 12 stories, 12 moments, some of which we'd started editing into short films together, like this one. And that's when the girl from the second day came back to the library with her teacher. Overnight, she decided to record her story after all, and the teacher had caught her at just the right moment on that morning. So there she was, ready to talk now, and she recorded her story. Once it was done, she was just beaming, delighted that she challenged herself and made it happen, ready to tell her story, ready for it to be heard. But not by everyone. The final part of digital storytelling is to share the story you've created. Sometimes just with the group you've been making the stories with, other times online or at community events. But you have to want to share it. More than lots of other story work, I think that digital storytelling is really more focused on the journey than the destination. Finding and telling your story is the work. It's not for other people, it's for you. If you're happy to share it, that's for you too. You don't owe anyone your story. So I wasn't all that surprised to discover that none of the young people that I'd worked with felt quite ready enough to share their recorded stories at a community event. That was maybe a step too far along the road too soon, for now. The important thing, the best thing, was that they found those stories and they told them. and I count myself really lucky to have heard 13 stories.